and gentlemen. Today, we will have a debate between Team A as the affirmative team and Team B as the opposite team. I am Crystal Faith Salamanes, your moderator for today. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our debate today, let me introduce you to each team. On my right side, the affirmative team, they have Matt Simon Arbistondo as the first speaker, Normie Bunyal Pinicetos as the second speaker, Rhea Shane Trujillo as the third speaker, and the last one, Goldie Gale Angus as the fourth speaker. On my left side, the opposite team, they have Cynthia Rawasa as the first speaker, Naraza Azarcon as the second speaker, Harold Guarte as the third speaker, and last one will be Jubel Rosal, the fourth speaker. I'd like to show you about today's motion. Today, we have special education, effective or not effective. So ladies and gentlemen, let's start our debate. Each speaker will be given 2 minutes to deliver their or to defend their side. For the first speaker of the affirmative team, time is yours.
The trend and technology have changed with the advent of modernization, but the people's thinking has remained consistent. Children and people with learning disabilities are frequently neglected by society. As a result, they frequently receive negative feedback from the schools and are unable to develop a positive attitude toward the outside world. This is very wrong. As humans, we all have the basic right to an equal opportunity of receiving education. That is why I firmly believe that special education is effective because it fosters educational programs and practices designed for students who are handicapped or gifted with mental, physical, or emotional disabilities. Also, it's a way of giving them special teaching approaches, equipment, or care within or outside a regular classroom that helps them to grow and enjoy the right to receive proper education without fearing it.
Time is up. So I thank the first speaker from the affirmative side for his remarks. We shall now hear the first speaker for the opposition. For the first speaker of the opposite team, the time is yours.
Special education students are sometimes separated from the rest of the class, which can be isolating. There's a potential for students to experience stigma. Integration of special education students and general education may not work for all needs. Instructional aids may limit a student's ability to work independently. There's a potential for students to struggle more socially as well, compared to fully included students with disabilities. Those who are mainstreamed for only certain classes or certain times may feel conspicuous or socially rejected by their classmates. They may become targets for bullying. Another thing is that those mainstream or with disabilities students may feel embarrassed by the additional services they receive in a regular classroom, such as an aid to help with written work or to help the students manage behaviors. Because some students with disabilities may feel more comfortable in an environment where most students are working at the same level or with the same supports. In terms of the sides of parents, they feel fear that general education teachers do not have the training and skills to accommodate special needs of students in a general education service. In the field of cost, schools are required to provide a special education service but may not be given additional financial resources, and it would also unfair for them. Special education is something could only make students feel pressure, especially those without disabilities. That's why I believe that special education is not effective.
Okay, I thank the I thank the first speaker from the opposite team for her remarks. I now call upon the second speaker for the proposition.
In
Time.
line, in line with the idea of the first affirmative speaker, special education is effective because it focuses on developing educational structures that can overcome the disadvantages associated with these disabilities and assist children in receiving equality education. It is also necessary for the specially disabled children to maintain the pace in the learning process with the children that do not have any special need, as they have the right to fulfill their requirements and explore their own potential regardless of their disability. The concept of special education mainly focuses on the designing of educational structure that has the potential to overpower the disadvantages of any disability along with helping the children to get quality education. Special education provides full-time specialized support and many special resources and services may be offered. Kids learn and interact with peers who also have challenges and they less likely to feel out of place. That's why special education is effective in molding disabled individual for them to be motivated in reaching the expectation of the school and the society as a whole.
I thank the member for her remarks. The second opposition, your time starts now.
In addition, for the opposing team, for special consequences for deaf students also is that, as we all know, deafness is a low incident disability, which means that a deaf child will often be the only student in the classroom with hearing loss. These lead to a special set of issues in the mainstream classroom. While students with other disabilities may experience isolation and bullying by their non-disabled peers, they often share a common language. This is not the case for deaf students. Very few people in the mainstream academic setting know sign language, which means the communication barrier is large and can have negative effects on both academic achievement and social development. The label special needs can have a stigma or negative connotation. Being a special needs program can reinforce. So, how come it will be ineffective when it only lead to chaos between the students with disability and without or even without school? Within school.
I thank the second speaker from the opposite team for her remarks. And now we will have a 5 minutes break for the preparation for the rebuttal. 5 minutes will start now. Three minutes. Two minutes left. One minute. Okay, time is up. I guess everyone's ready for the rebuttal. I now call upon the third speaker for the proposition.
So, special classes is organized to those special children or gifted children and is becoming a necessity for each individual who possesses disability in so many ways. Disabilities is not a hindrance as what you have said. Disability is a hindrance for those gifted children. You know why? Because disability is a gift from God as their special characteristics to whom they are known to be. And that is, special education is a necessity. Yes, As we all know that there are lots of people who are there to support those students and that you said special education is not effective, right? Does your someone teaches a child enough lesson to learn with? Does your someone has enough knowledge on how to handle the disability of a specific child? I guess no. And that is not a good view for those special children. Because educators in the special education possesses qualities of being organized, patient, creative, detailed-oriented, optimistic, good sense of humor, and most especially, having a love for children and for the teaching career. And not everybody can teach a child with exceptional and special needs. And that is, special education is there to help and support special children to learn ordinary and possible things inside of four-sided rooms with full of fairness and offers a comfort zone while learning.
I thank the member for her remarks. I now call upon the third speaker for the opposition.
This is not to say special education schools or programs are without their distraction. Some have raised criticism against them. There are main sources of concern with some kinds of special needs programs, such as lack of integration, where students may only learn and interact with peers with special needs. Thus, they won't be exposed to a wide range of influences. Another is social relations, where students in a special needs class may have problems relating to other kinds of the class or schools. These impede their social growth. There are some instances that children with disabilities struggles in socializing to people and also in schools. They can be bullied and discriminated due to their disabilities, and that will lead to depression and lack of interest in going to school. Therefore, special education is not effective at all.
Okay, I thank the member for his remarks. We will now proceed to the fourth speaker of the proposition team. Your time starts now.
The aim of special education courses are that they train you without any gap and make you all ready for the venture of effectively teaching children with special needs, be it any kind of teacher, especially so as a special education teacher. Training yourself before you assume the responsibilities of the job is very important. Having a disability of any kind should never stop anybody from conquering the world. That is, both children and adults having special needs should be given every opportunity without any stigma being attached to it. Children with special needs should be dealt with in accordance with their requirements so that despite their disabilities, they are able to clearly develop their cognitive abilities. Developing a broader education system and with educators who have a specialized training is an urgent requirement. Learning should be a fun and an adventurous activity for both children with and without special needs.
I thank the fourth speaker from the affirmative side. We will now proceed and hear the side of the fourth speaker from the opposite team. Your time starts now.
Special education is not effective because it only provides part-time support and incongruence between learning environments. It may interfere with what's learned in regular class. Kids may feel out of place or in the wrong group, and it can be a little expensive. Some teachers may not be trained in special education, and teachers less likely to be trained in special education. Moreover, integration of special education students and general education students may not work for all needs, and it might limit a student's ability to work independently. Therefore, special education is not effective, for there's a potential for students to struggle more socially. In fact, schools are required to provide special education services but may not be given additional financial resources, so it would not be unfair for them.
I thank the opposition speaker. Coming to the conclusion that your child may need to take a different path than general education is not an admission of failure. In this day and age, Programs have emerged to help children with deficiencies to learn better and really minimize the effects of their impairment. So, don't let your pride get the best of your kids' future. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, we come to the end of the presentation. We would like to say thanks to the presenter for the interesting presentation and also to all the audience for your active participation. Hopefully, the presentation will be beneficial for everyone. Thank you for your attention. God bless.
Congratulations. Congratulations.